medical and dental update, and take you along on this walk from the Crossroads, little strip mall type area. I did a previous video, and I'll link that video at the end of this video. Kind of interesting little strip mall, a few restaurants in there and other stores. Anyway, I think this is Archbishop Reyes Avenue. Back that direction, kind of goes back towards Ayala Mall, SM Mall, back further down that way. Back that direction. Anyway,
Closed. Used to be a high-end steakhouse, I think. Tinderbox. Closed. Wow. This whole complex here had a nice bar upstairs. Looks like they're closed. All the signage is down. Another victim of the government lockdowns, perhaps. Lack of tourists. Economy still has a long ways to go.
over on the left side of the street, you have the large business district called IT Park, and they've got an Ayala Mall in there. They've got a lot of commercial buildings with call centers and banks in there, restaurants, bars, condominiums as well. That tallest building there, I think that's 38th Avenue condos, I believe. I've done a video in there. In fact, I've got dozens and dozens and dozens of videos, over 1,300 videos up, many of them having to do with the real estate. What do you get? What do you get? What the condos look like, the size, the cost, that type of thing. So check out my condos list. Anyway, back to the medical and dental update. Myself and a friend as well. Myself, many of you know, about 2.5 months ago, I had a I was walking down the downtown area, and I got off in a grassy area by the highway, and stumbled on a rock, and man, I went down hard and fast, not even time to react. Dislocated my shoulder and busted it in a number of pieces. And the doctor's 5 days in the hospital, about 320,000 pesos, over $3,000. And doctor said the x-rays didn't show us how bad it was busted, and we, with 50,000 pesos worth of about $1,000 worth of titanium, we tried to put it back together as best we could. So hopefully in a couple of weeks I will go back to the surgeon and see if I'm ready for starting rehabilitation. Right now I'm pretty limited. If you notice, when I answer a lot fewer comments, and a lot of times I don't even capitalize, because it takes me 4 or 5 times longer, being one-armed to one-handed, to do that. So if you understand that, sorry about that, but just the way it is right now. I can lift my hand and arm a little bit. It's really weak, and it's painful if I try to move it out very much at all. So we'll just see what happens in the coming months. It's going to be many months of rehab type work. I asked them if they would consider putting in a new shoulder, and he said no, because of your age here in the Philippines. Although in the U.S., in the U.S., I've had an 80-year-old sister have a new hip put in. I've got a brother about my age, just had a new hip put in. So there's 10 plus years in advance, I guess, if you say that, than what the surgeons are. Maybe you can find surgeons in the Manila area, the higher end hospitals that would do that, that are trained to do that. I do get out and walk. I'm pretty careful now. These highways, or these highways and sidewalks, can be quite an obstacle course, as you're going to see walking along here, and walking up towards the Gaisano Country Mall area. And all along here to the left is the IT Park, and we've got the Cebu Country Club here, just to the right here. Big country club. You need to be. Met a guy the other day. He goes there regularly, and you need to be sponsored. I think by a member. Costs I think over $1 million to join. I believe. Anyway, to the dental. I went to a dentist here about a month ago, and had some work done. I'll put that list up too at the end of this video about medical and dental costs here in the Philippines. And went back for a little more work, some cleaning and additional work. And anyway, all the dentists in town have different prices, so the prices I go up aren't necessarily what you're going to pay. In fact, I had a friend and subscriber call me after I put that video up, and he said, "Man, I paid a lot more for this than what you did. What's the deal? Do you think I'm getting scammed?" Well, if you have a business, you set the prices, whatever they might be, and it's good to know that ahead of time. Look at this sidewalk, or lack of sidewalk here. Just not enough room. The city wasn't planned well enough in advance. They didn't know they were going to grow that fast. So now I'll talk a little bit about my friend's medical experience. Gosh, I met him about 5, maybe 6, yeah, even 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And I would go to J Center Mall, to a restaurant there, and have coffee once a week, sometimes more. Sometimes stay for the band in the evening, and he was always there. He was there every day reading the paper. He loved to get the newspaper and read it there for hours and hours and hours. And became quite a friend, ex-military. He's had his knees replaced a couple times, once here in the Philippines. Back, I think, about 2013 or before that, and he was real happy with what the Filipino physicians did for him there. He could get along fairly well, although we took a couple trips, and getting in and out of a banca boat could be a little bit of a challenge, but he could manage fairly well. Even during the lockdowns, the government lockdowns over these last 2.5 years, once the mall would open up, we'd start meeting again as often as we could, once a week. And his situation, after a third medical, what do you call it? We're not allowed to say certain things on YouTube channels. After he received a third medical insertion, put it that way, he started going downhill very quickly. And his girlfriend noticed it before I did, but about 3 months later, after trying to talk to him, and his neurologically, his memory was going rapidly. And I called his girlfriend helper and told him we need to take him to emergency room. So the next
House of Lechon, one of the famous lechon.
House of Lechon, little street side. They've got larger restaurants as well.
Got a roadside stand.
And we took him next morning. We took him to the hospital. After an hour or two, they admitted him. And interesting that the doctor who had dealt with him a few years earlier had to be the one that approved his admission, so they had to contact him. It's kind of he's his assigned doctor, so he has to be the one to admit. I said, well, it has nothing to do with that event so many years ago. They said, no, but that's just the rules here, Chunghwa Hospital, Mandawi. And anyway, he was in the hospital and never fully recovered. He was in the hospital for a month, a little bit longer, I think 400,000 pesos, something like that. Housing development down that way. Subdivision. And anyway, went home, and he was pretty much bedridden, and he had over the years he'd put on a lot of weight, putting in some training a bunch of people in putting up fiber lines, I think. PLDT, I believe. Anyway, never recovered. He pretty much bedridden and stayed there. Just recently, he had pneumonia again. Was in the hospital for several weeks. Again, not quite sure the final bill. He is a veteran, but the vets have a clinic in Manila, but they don't have a hospital. And anyway, trying to get him involved in with the VFW down here so that he might still have some type of benefit, even though it's not related to his disability, which he is on. He is eating a little bit better again, but and gaining a little bit of weight, but he's pretty much skin and bones and bedridden, and so he's got a long ways to go. He did recognize me, big smile, put his hand out to shake my hand, which was really heartwarming, put it that way. Anyway, take care of yourselves, guys and girls, and we'll see you next time.